the Hebrew meaning of the word heaven. So my name is Enoch Lavender. I'm from Olive Tree Ministries, and we're going to look at the Jewish background of the word heaven and how that points us to the river of life. So shamayim is the word for heaven, and it's made up of sham, meaning there, and mayim, meaning water. So heaven can quite literally mean there's water. Water is right there. Now the word heaven, both in English and in Hebrew, can relate to the sky above us or to the spiritual place known as heaven. And also in Old Testament times, it would be the firmament that was there at the time of creation, the waters above the earth. So we're going to see how heaven itself is linked with the source of the water of life, and how this understanding helps us as we look at the ministry of our Messiah. We have the story of Lazarus that Jesus told us, and Lazarus was a beggar who had been poor in his life, and he died and he went to the place known as Abraham's bosom. The rich man who had done so well in his life, he went to the place known as Gehenna. And the rich man was in torment in Hades. And he looked up to Abraham and he said, "Father Abraham, have pity on me and send Lazarus to dip the tip of his finger in water to cool my tongue, because I am in agony in this fire." So the Jewish understanding at the time of Jesus was that the afterlife was a place where departed souls would go to different places waiting for their final judgment. You'd have the wicked going to Gehenna, a hot and dry place, noticeably a place of no water. By contrast, the righteous would go to paradise, Gan Eden, and they would wait for the resurrection to come. And this is a place fed with a lovely spring of water. So heaven is a place of water, the water of life. There's water. Let's keep on going. The book of Revelation describes a new heaven and a new earth at the very end of the book, and describes the city of Jerusalem coming down from above, and it further goes on to describe the pure river of water of life coming from the throne of God down the middle of the street of the new Jerusalem. And there is the call for those who are thirsty. The Spirit and the bride say, "Come." Let him who hears say, "Come." And let him who is thirsty come. Whoever desires, let him take the water of life freely. Understanding that the water of life, the source of this water, is heaven itself, is the presence of God. It helps us understand the presence of water here as a prominent feature in the New Jerusalem. Where do you and where do I satisfy our thirst? Jeremiah the prophet lamented his people because they had forsaken God, the fountain of living waters, and had hewn themselves cisterns, broken cisterns that hold no water. In other words, the people of Israel had access to the living water source itself, God himself. But they had left this and were seeking out other ways of finding satisfaction. Now, in the natural, we as human beings, we depend on, we rely on, and we need water to function. Our bodies are made of 70% water. We're constantly thirsty, we're constantly drinking, and we're constantly looking for water. And perhaps this is a picture of a spiritual reality where we need the water of God. We have a built-in need for his presence, a built-in need for him, the water that comes from him alone. Unfortunately, many of us have turned our back on him as that source, and we've tried to find other ways to be satisfied, satisfying ourselves with the entertainment of this world, with social media perhaps. But none of this ultimately satisfies. None of this will deal with the thirst of our hearts. Let us learn the lesson from Israel and let us return to him, the true source of living water, the true source of satisfaction, the one who we need in our lives. Because just as with heaven there's water, God himself, he is the source of water. He is the source of life, and it's ultimately his presence in heaven that is the source of the living water that you and I need today. When Jesus came to the well of Samaria, he was tired. He had been for a long journey. You could say that in the natural he had nothing left to give. But he sat down at the well and he noticed a woman coming. But he saw something more about her that many missed. Firstly, he saw that she was thirsty. She was looking for water from the well, but spiritually she was thirsty for the Messiah. Yes, she had been messing around. She had previously had 5 husbands, and now she was with a boyfriend and who she was not married to. But deep down there was a hunger and a thirst in her heart that she was trying to satisfy. And so Jesus began to talk to her. And he said, if you knew the gift of God, if you knew who it is who says to you, give me a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water. You see, Jesus is the source of living water. When we say heaven, there's water, ultimately the water comes from him. He is that source, and he is the one that ultimately she was thirsty and hungry for. The psalmist describes those who meditate on the word of God day and night, and he says they will be like trees planted by rivers of living water. There'll be a constant satisfaction even in dry times, even in hard times. As we stay close to him, we can find the satisfaction and the strength that we need for each day. He has built us with a need for water, and he is that source of living water. And so Jesus said to the woman of Samaria that those who drink of this water will thirst again, but whoever drinks of the water that I will give him will never thirst. The water that I will give him will become in him a fountain of water springing up into everlasting life. Just as Jesus was a carrier of the water of heaven, supplying the needs of those who are thirsty and pointing them to God himself, so I believe you and I, as his followers, are called to also be springs and fountains of living water, who will be able to have an answer to those who are thirsty, be able to point them to the true source of life itself. So many people are like the Samaritan woman, looking everywhere for satisfaction, for a deep thirst within. But in the word heaven itself, we find the answer. There's water. There's satisfaction. There's the answer. And you and I are called to be people who carry this answer to those who are in need. If this message has been a blessing to you, please like and share it. Subscribe to us on YouTube and support our work. You can visit our website at olivetreeministries.tv for more teaching articles and videos. May God bless you, and may He always satisfy your thirst and enable you to be a blessing to others. This is Enoch Lavender on behalf of Olive Tree Ministries.